Welcome back. You're still watching Berita 1 English. We're still discussing the US-Indonesia Investment Summit with Andrew White and Pak Bima Priyasantoso. We were talking earlier about the benchmark. I'd like to go back into this question. What do you expect after this series conference? That people understand more about Indonesia, or is there any guideline that you would actually set up?
What we hope to achieve on the one hand is that the investors, the companies or potential investors, will understand better what the government is trying to achieve to grow the economy by 7%, and by their specific sector, which is why we're having the ministers from each sector. At the same time, it's important that the government understand the challenges that the investors are facing here. So from there, next year, that allows for the ongoing dialogue by sector. Our role is to bring the participants to the table and to have a specific dialogue, not a general dialogue, that allows for next year. And the follow-up in 2015 will be allowing the specific sectors to engage both with the ministers and in the levels below the ministers. This is the first real summit. I mean, it's a terrific opportunity. The cabinet's in place. You have 60.
It's a new government.
It's a new government. You have $61 billion in investments sitting at the table. So it's a terrific opportunity we see both for Indonesia and for U.S. companies.
May I ask Pak Bima here? You're talking about specific sectors and specific issues that you discuss between. But Indonesia, one thing that Indonesia is not famous for is coordination, including between ministry, between government. What do you say about that?
Well, one of the findings from the report is there is activities that need, for example, like import license. If you talk about import license, then you need approval from at least
a zillion of ministries and departments.
Well, but anyway, I think the next government, I think the President Jokowi has already mentioned in several occasions that the target of the government is to reduce the permit license process. Yes, and I think one of the report, doing business report, it's very clear that it's also have up until the district level. So the government can use that as a target, and the government just put in place that this is the target for the next year, that the rank of our doing business report environmental friendly. Yes.
Right. Well, I'm very happy to to hear that.
Yeah, but I believe that yes, coordination is easy to mention but difficult. But at least now they
realize that it's there and it should be addressed.
Yes.
Right. Andrew, when you talk about investment, you're trying to draw investment. Where is the priority? I mean, what type of investment would you have Indonesia draw? Not all kind of investment, obviously.
Well, clearly, oil, gas, the extractive sector is still important for Indonesia. Indonesia is importing.
That goes without saying.
It goes without saying. But what oftentimes gets lost is the fact that 23 production sharing contracts will expire in the next 4 to 6 years.
All right.
And so it's incumbent on our companies and the government to get together to understand whether those contracts will be renewed, because tens of billions of dollars
have been invested.
But beyond that, if we look at IT, we have companies like Microsoft, Intel, and HP at the conference. Indonesia's moved with its broadband backbone. That has to continue. Internet connectivity in Indonesia is only 22% today. So increasing that, and companies are interested. Healthcare, the new government is pushing forward with its universal healthcare coverage, so companies like Johnson & Johnson want to be part of that discussion. Finance services, Citibank, MasterCard, to help you generate the 21st century economy, digital online communication and buying.
Well, what should it be geared into? Like, is it to build infrastructure? Is it to enhance skills? What is the priority there for investment?
Well, there's a different combination. If you look at the IT sector, for instance, that in itself is a catalyst for growth. So if e-commerce begins to take off here in Indonesia, you have somebody in Sulawesi has a business and can get their products there. So IT in that sense isn't necessarily big infrastructure, big number of employees, but it's a catalyst for other growth, small to medium. Oil and gas, of course. Manufacturing in the last 10 years, its year-on-year growth is double that of the extractive sector, 22% year-on-year growth.
Really?
In manufacturing.
In manufacturing.
So fast-moving consumer goods companies, the Procters & Gamble's, the Philip Morris, and so forth, there's tremendous opportunity here, not only in Indonesia, but to use Indonesia as an export hub to other ASEAN countries as well.
Okay.
So it's a combination.
Right. What did the report suggest, for example, in terms of investment? Is there any like apparent need for investment to be zooming on certain sectors or certain priorities? I don't know.
Yeah, I think as Andrew mentioned, that oil and gas, 23 contracts will be finished at the next 3-4 years. I think that's energy is a big issue for the government. So I think the company needs certainty, to invest, because the target of the state budget for oil lifting is around 900,000. 900,000 barrels per day. That's a big challenge.
Yeah.
If you don't, finalize the contract within the next 2 or 3 years, then there will be a problem. Yes. So that's one of the big issues about the energy. Of course, mining also big issues because of our export is more, I think, more than 45% is from the commodity, while the commodity price is declining. So that's big pressure on our current account deficit. Right?
Okay. Can we talk again about these industries after the break?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Please stay with us. We will be back.